Hey everyone, it's an honor for me to share with you a testimony of the Lord's presence, promises, and provision. On March 30th of this year, I went into work and my team received notice that we were being put on furlough indefinitely. Now, the stipulation was that we would have a job waiting for us once this COVID crisis was over and the economic climate was more favorable. As we left and said our goodbyes that day, there was a tension because we knew that there were lockdowns, layoffs. One major client owed us a lot of money and would soon claim bankruptcy. So I went home that day, drove home, and there were questions swarming. What next? What if there is no next? What does a guy like me do in the job market now? All these questions brought just inner turmoil, and they did not bring clarity, which is exactly what I wanted at that time. So my spirit rose up and I pressed into the Lord. And a key revelation I received was that if the Lord were sought in this season, that he would strengthen us in the refuge. So that made all the difference and made my lockdown a strengthening sanctuary. A couple of months later, I received an email from that logistics company that I had worked for 8 years, and they were shutting down operations. The next day, I received a phone call from my GM and good friend, Bill, and he said that he had bought the company and that he wanted to extend an offer, a job offer to me on a consultancy basis as a business development manager. Essentially, I would be the sales department. So, looking at an upside down world, the automotive and travel industries were not doing well. I told Bill I would get back to him. I had to prayerfully assess the situation before I said yes or no. A couple of days later, after praying with Ari, we recalled our promises and prophetic words that there would be no lack and no less, that there would be provision beyond our imagination. And the Lord specifically spoke to me about a new beginning, which would be a reserved place of provision that he had for me. With all that remembrance, I called back Bill and said, I accept your offer. Together, we prayed through this, strategically launching this company and with the Lord's direction and intention. We opened up in mid-June and we saw a surge of business. We saw open doors that we couldn't even budge. We saw revenue streams in the desert. It was an amazing testimony of the Lord's hand working in business. And it continued. We experienced 2 of our best sales months, our best quarter since 2014 with 90% less staff. The wisdom I gained in this season of provision was that, especially in times of uncertainty, we have to lean on the trust and we have to hold the prophecies and promises like weapons in our hand. And we would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.